Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Crayons. Today we're going to be playing some World of Warships. Specifically, we're going to be taking out the Iowa class United States battleship. Armed with super heavy 16-inch guns, firing super heavy 16-inch shells, the Iowa hits pretty hard when it hits. But I find the accuracy of its guns to be lacking, I guess is the way I would describe it.
Everyone.
The game starts off incredibly slow, but there are some other slow bits as well, but I mean, it's World of Warships, can't have gameplay happening constantly, can we?
Awaiting instructions.
So, what is the Iowa? Well, it's a fast battleship class. Essentially, fast battleships. The name describes what they are. Ships like the North Carolina and South Dakota, they're not fast battleships, though they were fairly nimble. However, the Iowa class was designed specifically to be a fast battleship, designed to hit speeds of at least 30 knots. Obviously, the size of the Iowa was largely restricted by the Panama Canal because the United States still required their ships to be able to pass through the Panama Canal, which they essentially means they can only design ships with a very specific width, which also limits their weight as well. Our first target here being the Miyoko, a Japanese cruiser, fairly decent as far as ships come, but very squishy. Its armor is not very good, and it's essentially a floating citadel. It's incredibly easy. Same with the Ibuki as well. Essentially all Japanese cruisers and stuff like that are incredibly easy to citadel. First salvo off. And we get one over penetration. That's what I'm talking about when it comes to the accuracy of these guns. They're not good, but they can have their moments. We have the Miyoko again, fully broadside. Another salvo out. Looking good. And there it is, a citadel. Like I stated before, it is very easy to citadel Japanese ships, especially cruisers. Battleships, maybe not so much. You can still citadel Japanese battleships, but obviously compared to cruisers. This is an arms race match, so there are little buffs that you can pick up throughout the map. Certain buffs, they can help with health regen. They can boost your ship's speed, or they can even make your reload quicker, depending on what buff you pick up. Man, I cannot talk today. There is a destroyer here, but I'm not really in a position to engage. I've got armor piercing loaded, and 16-inch armor piercing versus the destroyer is not the best. I could have changed to high explosive, which at least would allow me to do more damage, but with the ships around me I was facing as well, the destroyer just wasn't... I didn't class the destroyer as a threat at that time. No hits on that salvo. Some expert dodging, or just bad aim. I'll let you choose. Now, the thing about the Iowa is it is a good ship. if played right. Now me, I'm not a good player. I'm not good at this game. I would never claim to be good. I make a lot of mistakes. But I still think I did okay, all things considered. Now my main worry is that battleship. I'm not even going to try and pronounce the name. I've tried to pronounce it before and I failed. Now the enemy team are winning. They have 3 kills to our 1. But I've just helped even it out with 1 citadel, completely destroying that battleship, which I believe is Italian. I believe it's an Italian battleship. But do not quote me on that because, well, I don't know everything, so I don't play the Italian line. The only lines I really play are the British and the American. Again, a full salvo out and not a single hit on that cruiser. Just my bad aim. I kind of fuck up with the movement here because I'm just very, very slowly moving. Just doing my absolute best not to hit this mountain or this island. But now that I think about it, I should have just full sped into it, because then I could have reversed faster as well. From behind, 3 penetrations, 1 torpedo belt shatter, and I still got that citadel. That just shows you how fragile the Japanese cruisers are. The fact that I was still able to citadel the cruiser even from behind. Granted, I am using 16-inch guns, but it's not really the point.
Ship is on fire.
Because at this point, I've got 3 citadels in only how many hits? 13. So in total, because the way World of Warships works is, if you get a citadel hit, it classes as a separate hit. So if you look in the top corner, I have 13 hits and 3 citadels, so I've hit 16 shells in total. It's really weird how they do it, but I fuck up the aim on this shot, I believe. Never mind, no I don't. Boom, gone. My 4th citadel and my 2nd kill of the game. 82,000 damage on 2 kills. It's not doing too bad. This is the shot I screw up. I did not aim far enough ahead. So, not going to get any hits, but I believe that ship dies before my shells get there anyway. Yeah, there it goes. Spotted this destroyer, and I've got armor piercing loaded, so he's smoking up. I need to do something, so I fire anyway. I take my time changing to HE because I kind of panicked. I was like, oh god, a destroyer! I need to do something. But then halfway through the reload of the AP, I think I end up changing it. No, I don't. What am I doing? I can't remember what I did for this game. Still got AP loaded for some reason. I do change the HE though. Increased reload speed. There you go. Someone on my team has picked up a buff, which gives us a faster reload. At this point, I can see the destroyer is running. He's not paying attention to me because he's just gunned down my teammate. So HE is loaded and I'm charging in. I am full speed straight into that smoke. Because I know he's going to be heading towards the island. But I do turn and look to my left just in case he decides to cut it short and go left instead of going around the island like I think he's going to. You can see me preparing for it. Fire my rear gun because it's not going to be any use, and there's the destroyer running away from me. HE loaded and 2 hits. Not great. I wish I had my rear turret because he turned broadside and I could have killed him. But at this point, I know exactly what he's going to do. I've got the dead body of my teammate right in front of me. He's turned broadside. I'm expecting torpedoes. So I've slowed down to ensure that I can keep the body of my teammate between me and him. Because I am absolutely expecting torpedoes.
Torpedoes, dead ahead.
And what do you know? There they are. Now, I don't know what kind of destroyer that is. Obviously, I know its name, but I don't know what its armament is, how many torpedoes it can carry, like how many torpedo tubes it has, how many guns. I don't know. So I'm not taking any chances. I'm preparing for him to come around this corner and attempt to torpedo me again. Because my thought is, he didn't get any hits with the torpedoes, which means I've slowed down. Which, if he was to have multiple torpedo tubes, like 2 torpedo tubes, well, obviously he's got 2 torpedo tubes, he's just fired 5. I mean torpedo launchers, sorry. If he has 2 torpedo launchers, then he could easily come around this corner and launch the other one at me. But I don't know, so I'm taking precautions, which granted is keeping me away from the team, which is making me a little bit useless by this point. You can see my health slowly going up because we've gotten some buffs that allow us to regen health. And I'm out of heals by this point, so I'm fully relying on that health regen. Now this Musashi plays incredibly well. I will spoil it, and I've still got HE loaded because I was expecting to fight the destroyer, but he ran. So I've just fired the HE. I am going to switch to armor piercing though. But that Musashi player, I will spoil, earns nearly 3,500 base XP. Which is insane. If you've never played World of Warships, you can use flags to boost your earnings from a match. It can be by 50%, I believe it's 50%, 150%, 200%, 300%, and some modifiers even allow you to go as far as 2,000%. Base XP is how much XP you earn regardless of the modifiers. That is your standard amount. That's how much XP you earned without any add-ons. So to earn 2,000 base XP is impressive enough, but to earn nearly 3,500 is jaw-droppingly impressive. Now at this point, my attention is focused on this Prince Ruprecht, and he's running. He is running away from me, and I don't know if I can. I probably could catch him, but at this point, I'm over here on my own because my last remaining 4 teammates are focusing on the middle. They're focusing on A because that Musashi is in the middle, causing the team some problems. So they're all focused on him. But I'm over here on my own, focusing on a Japanese cruiser and the Prince Ruprecht. At this point, I've decided this is not going to work. Especially when the Ibuki, starts firing at me as well. I've now got 2 people that are going to be firing at me. I've got 2 targets to deal with. I'm out here on my own. It's not good. It's not going to work. I try and take out the Ibuki, but he turns and dodges all of my shells, which was impressive. And I have a massive lag spike here.
I need support.
Not fun at all. But now I've got both of them firing at me, and at this point I'm convinced this is not where I want to be. So I'm going to fire at the Prince Ruprecht because he's the only one spotted, but I am starting to turn away. Did hit them a little bit, but it didn't really do any damage. Trying to mainly keep my distance, but I'm not spotted anymore, so I know no one is within my base detection range. So this is where I decide This is it. I'm turning around. I'm going to turn around and I'm going to try and get back to my team to help them. At this point, I could launch my spotter plane and boost my firing range, bearing in mind the upgraded Iowa has a base firing range of 27.11 kilometers. So it is incredibly good, but you can boost it up to over 30 kilometers with plane, which the plane is now launched because the Musashi was spotted, but it has gone unspotted essentially immediately afterwards. So now it's just a waiting game, waiting for it to be spotted, and there it is. Musashi. Now long range, 21 kilometers, sorry. I've got to try and rein in where I need to fire. And this first salvo is way too forward. I don't think I get a single hit here. Nope. So not a single hit. I aimed too far forward and missed the entire salvo. I am now spotted, however. But the Musashi is not. But it is about to be. Musashi is coming to a stop, so I fire it where it is. But I made the mistake of not waiting because it immediately begins to move forward after I fire, meaning most of my shells hit the rear, and we get 2 ricochets and 1 penetration. So it's not looking good for us. The Algier showing up in the middle, fully broadside, and I scuff it again by aiming too far forward. 2 overpens, not very good. And it immediately goes undetected because it is no longer firing its guns. But it is able to spot me. But I simply cannot see it.
Spotter returning to
Which is
ship.
bad. We are down to 3 people on my team. 2 other teammates and myself. Fully broadside Musashi. But the Musashi takes down the York. Now making it a 2v6. Do finally aim well. Get some decent hits. 13,000 damage. Getting 3 penetrations, 1 overpen, 2 non-pens and 1 bounce. Again, harking back to the Iowa's accuracy. Good when it hits, but sometimes it has its moments. The Ibuki, finally. It immediately goes undetected as I fire, so 1 gun turret fires when locked, the other 2 don't, and immediately smack into the mountain. But we get the Citadel, 2 Citadels actually, and we get the destruction of the Ibuki. And I have been called useless in chat, which I can agree with, to be fair. I was on the other side of the map, essentially on my own. Fully broadside Musashi again, too far rearward. And the destroyer, for some reason, is in open water, gunfighting with a Musashi when it has less than 1,000 health. So now it is a 1v5. And at this point I know I am screwed. There is nothing I can do. We are going to lose because we're behind on points. They're about to get the cap. So my final decision is I'm going to make the best of the situation and I'm going to focus on the Musashi. Prince Ruprecht fires at me and gets himself spotted. I could have fired at him, but my shells would have absolutely just gone into the mountain and missed, so there'd have been no point. So I saved my guns. And there's the Musashi. Now I've just gotten myself an increased reload.
Ship is on fire.
And the Musashi's firing higher explosive. But then, all of a sudden, after just firing, it's firing again. And it's firing armor piercing. And you're about to see how quickly this Musashi can reload due to the buffs. And it's firing again. Bearing in mind the Musashi has 18.6 0.1 inch guns, which can go through my armor even while I am nosed in. And I only have 16, and it's fired again. The situation is completely screwed, and I'm trying to go for the citadel underneath the guns, but the accuracy of the guns is not working with me. Torpedoes, and I immediately begin to panic, but they run out just before they hit me. The clock is just about to run out. I'm almost about to win, about to survive the encounter, get more shells off, all bounce, and I die. It did not go well. It was not good at all. But 11,000 XP due to the boosters, 160,000 damage. And here's the important part. 1,329 base XP, top of the team. And the Musashi with 3,239 base XP. That is incredibly, incredibly impressive. So, despite the match being very, very bad, I believe I did okay, given the situation I was thrown into. But absolutely well done to that Musashi player, because he absolutely deserved that #1 spot on the enemy team. But that is going to do it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.